Who is a VA? So VA is basically an executive assistant, but working virtually. These days, a laptop, smartphone, internet is like every household has it. You're not going to pay anything extra to get these because you already have these resources at home. If you don't, you can use community libraries. So don't really worry about the resources. Just try to be resourceful. And the biggest advantage of online business is you can turn your passion into profit. So basically, you get paid for doing what you love. Everybody loves being their own boss, but my question to you is, do you have the discipline to be your own boss? So 3 I's are crucial for online business: income, impact, and influence. Literally, people who want to become virtual assistants in Australia are competing against $3 an hour, $5 an hour VAs from India and Philippines. Yes, you're right, that's a challenge. But from what I have seen, those are not your target market anyways. Don't consume a lot of information and get confused. Implement, implement, implement. Okay, one implementation equals 100 courses or 100 webinars that you attend.
Hey everyone, welcome to Pivot to Thrive podcast. This is your ultimate destination to elevate your mindset, marketing, and sales strategies for ultimate business growth. I'm your host, Dr. Priya, and I'm here to inspire and guide you on your journey to financial independence. My mission in life is very simple: to empower entrepreneurs like you with simple, actionable insights and easy to implement strategies that will transform your online business into a thriving success. Now, here's the deal. If your current strategy in life or business isn't working, don't quit. Just pivot. And it's important you understand that the goal for pivoting life and business isn't just to adapt and survive, but to truly thrive in growth, success, and abundance. So, in this podcast, we'll dive deep into the mindset shifts you need to break free from cultural barriers and embrace your true potential. We'll discuss cutting-edge marketing and sales techniques that you can apply to your business right away. Together, we'll create a powerful belief system that'll guide you towards the life you truly desire. So, grab a cup of coffee or even a fancy glass of wine, and let's start pivoting towards the success you've always dreamed of.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this very first session I'm doing on this particular topic. So I've been associated with Regional Business HQ for almost 5 months now, and I've done a series of workshops on different topics about marketing and sales. But this is my very first workshop on this particular topic, regional and remote work opportunities in Australia. I'll tell you why I wanted to do this topic and my journey in this space as well. So quick housekeeping, just make notes. That's all I want to know. And like I said, it's boring for me to just talk. So if you keep it engaging, I would truly appreciate it. Ask questions, make the most of these 2 hours. The way I run sessions is I make you all do stuff and write some responses, ask questions. So you make the most of these 2 hours. You're not just listening, because after the 2 hours, we all go back to our life where we don't have time. So make sure you make best use of these 2 hours to get most out of the session. So please make notes, ask questions, and make the most of it. So if you've been on my other workshops, I don't show the slide. This is a very, very old slide of mine. But I guess for this particular workshop, it's very important for you to understand, because most of them start as virtual assistant or any kind of remote work as a side hustle. And I want you all to know that's how I started as well. So I started my life as a university lecturer back in India in 2006 when I finished my master's. And then while I was working, I also did my PhD. And that's why you find the 2 letters DR in front of my name. I like to show off because I spent 5 years of my prime time to get this 2-letter prefix to my name. Why I did that is a totally different story over a bottle of gin, I guess. So I was working full time back in India. I moved to Australia in 2016. And the first aha moment, or the very first realization I had after I moved to Australia, is the value of 1 hour of my time. I think that was a massive breakthrough moment for me, because in India, we get paid per month, irrespective of how many hours I would work, 12 hours every day or 16 hours every day. I would still get a fixed monthly salary. So there was no value for 1 hour of my time. Once I moved here, my very first job in Northern Territory, Darwin, was with Bet365. So you can understand and appreciate my integration into the Australian culture with Australian punters. Very, very interesting. So I lived in Darwin for 3 years, been in the most remote parts of Northern Territory. But the true value I got out of that was 1 hour of my time. So once I understood the dollar value for every hour of my time, I was only trying to maximize it. Okay, so I was doing lots of side hustles. I was tutoring, I was doing assignment help, anything in the academic space, because that's what I thought I was qualified to do because I was a lecturer, I was in teaching. So I could not think anything outside of that academic education sector because that's what I was qualified to do and that's what I had experience. And later I had the second major breakthrough realization or an aha moment that there's only so many hours in the day. As much as I understand and appreciate the dollar value of 1 hour of my time, there was only so many hours in the day. So how can I maximize it? How can I make money even while I sleep? How can I make money without trading my time? Because if I'm going to trade my time, I'm going to work till I die, which is essentially in Australia, the retirement age being 66. In India, it's 55. And culturally, it's very different. Like children take care of parents, parents completely fund their education, marriage, and everything. It was a very different culture. So one part of my culture shock was when people told me I need insurance for my funeral. So all these culture shock as a migrant made me realize that I have to find ways to make money without trading time because only then I can maximize it and not work till 66, right? So I started my life very first time in 2017, 2018-ish with ClickFunnels. I don't know how many of you know ClickFunnels. It's a sales funnel building software. And that was the very first, like the best $100 investment till date. The reason being, in those 30 days, I understood that I can monetize anything. I just don't have to do a side hustle or a business idea just based on my qualification and work experience. Basically, if I have the passion and interest to master something, I can just make money doing anything. And then I started social media management agency. So I did a lot of things because I had a fixed paycheck. I had all my needs were fulfilled. All I had to do was spend 2 hours before work, spend 2 hours after work. So my famous tagline was use your 9 to 5 to pay your bills and 6 to 10 to build your empire, because that's what I did. So you can see this one was back in 2019, I would say. I was still working with University of Adelaide full time, got 2 boys, husband, and those times I was doing a lot of business coaching and mentoring. And I was still doing a lot of side hustling in the consulting tutoring space. I used to work a lot with my council in the volunteering, and I used to do a lot of community service. And I've got pretty much every platform. I've got 2 YouTube channels. I've got 2 podcasts. I think I'm ADHD undiagnosed. I did a lot. And that's how I got niche down into marketing and sales, because I was doing something right to get 15,000 subscribers without posting a video for 2 years. So people started asking me, how did I do it? So now I kind of did it. And then I left my full-time job back in 2021. So 2021 December is when I quit my full-time job with the University of Queensland. So I moved 3 states in 7 years. So 2021 December, I quit my full-time job and I was super excited. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a CEO. And what happens? I didn't realize Australia shuts down for Christmas, right? So Australia shuts down for Christmas during December and January. And I didn't have leads or I didn't have sales coming, and you freak out, right? You had a big fat paycheck that you gave up because you don't want to work, just want to try your passion, which is basically, like I say, if you don't have good marketing and sales, you just have an expensive hobby. So my business was an expensive hobby back then, and I felt the burn. So I needed some work to keep me sane and not kill my kids. So I was thinking about what was the gap in the market, because I told you I was in the business mentoring, business coaching space. So I would sit down with my clients during my coaching calls and I would give them clear roadmap on what to do every week. Come back next week and they'll be like, sorry, Priya, I didn't have the time to do it. So I was thinking, what's the most legal, ethical way to make my clients do it? I'm an Indian mom, right? I whack my kids on the bum and make them do stuff. So I can't do that to my clients. So what do I do? So that's when I just posted a story on my Instagram that if you're a woman from India, I'm going to train you to become my virtual assistant. So this is how I started training VAs back in India, because that was my way of paying back to my women back home. Because I know a lot of women back there lose their identity after marriage. They give up their career after the marriage and having kids. So a lot of qualified, talented women can't can't take up a job because of the hassle and travel and can't balance family and work. And there's a lot of cultural things involved as well. So because it's all completely remote, I think I was able to break through and train 33 VAs till date. So I was in India for the past 2 months. I just reached last Sunday. So I met my team in person for the first time. We've always met on Zoom. So this is partially my team who came to meet me in person. Yeah, and we spent a weekend together. So this was great. So that's why I think I'm qualified enough to talk about this, because I've done this for 3 years now. And now I have a team of technical people helping me with all the CRM stuff in Pakistan. Who would have thought? Hey, so my Pakistan is all male remote team who are specialized in technical aspects, and all female admin team and social media team in Indian concept. So the big question that I get from most Australians is, everybody knows that outsourcing is a normal these days post-COVID. So literally, people who want to become virtual assistants in Australia are competing against $3 an hour, $5 an hour VAs from India and Philippines. Yes, you're right, that's a challenge. But from what I have seen, those are not your target market anyways. So people who want to keep their business in Australia, because most Australians are more community minded, they want to support Australian businesses, they want to support regional businesses, they want to support remote businesses. So I am discussing with Regional Business HQ, with a lot of multicultural organizations, to offer my virtual assistant training for remote and regional businesses here in Australia, because we have a huge segment of business owners and communities wanting to support regional and remote businesses. So there are two different target audiences. I want to make this very, very clear from the get-go that you are not competing with offshore agencies, offshore skills, because the businesses and individuals that want to work with offshore definitely aiming for very affordable resource. So that's their main focus. So they want something affordable. They're not into too many other aspects. They don't bother about different aspects. But whereas I've got business owners who are like, no, I do not want my business information and my clients' information being accessed offshore. I'm very much concerned about data privacy, and I want to support local businesses. That's the kind of market we are tapping into. So if you're very clear about who your target market is from the get-go, I think it becomes easier for you to understand. That's why, even though I've got an offshore team, there are different VAs in Australia I support and refer businesses, because some of my clients do not want, work with offshore VAs, and that's their choice. So definitely that is a target market you will be focusing on. So let's get into what is the main issue, why a lot of people don't start online businesses. Because these days you find everybody mentioning online that if you have a laptop or a mobile phone and internet, you can make money, which is true, 100%. That's how I made money. I never believed people would pay thousands of dollars of Instagram without seeing you until it happened to me. So just because it doesn't happen to you, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. So I want to first address the objections that usually people face. If it's that easy, why aren't a lot of people doing it? That's exactly my question. Why aren't you doing it? If you have access to a laptop and internet and smartphone, you should be able to make at least a few $100s. I'm not somebody who will exaggerate and say you can rake in millions immediately, but a few $100s as a side hustle to pay some of your bills, especially with the rising cost prices, I think that'll be a good start, and that'll give your brain an evidence that this particular aspect is working, right? So if that's easy, why aren't people making money? Why aren't a lot of people jumping on this bandwagon of online business and remote work opportunities? And I'll tell you, I'm not someone who would say, I want to sit in the beaches in Bali and make money, laptop lifestyle, though it's possible. I did that for 2 months in India. That was basically my trial to see how the life is working, whether my lead pipeline is affected, whether my sales pipeline is affected. But I love my discipline. I love my 3 screens. I'm not someone who'll sit with a laptop and work, but this is completely possible with this lifestyle. If you're a person who wants that freedom lifestyle, then definitely go for it. So for me, my biggest why on why I started my business was when my parents got COVID, right? I could not afford to buy them the next meal. I was here and I could not go because of travel ban. So they're not getting any younger. So my why was to build a business that I can be with my parents and still make money. So I was able to do that in the last 2 months, which I'm super grateful for. And that's why now come back and I'm like, oh my God, I have to tell this to more people and I can help more people do this, right? Okay, so let's get into the objections, why people don't achieve this, though it seems super achievable. Most people get stuck with the how. Now, I told you why I did it, right? So when people said, oh, find out your why, niche down in your why, it didn't make sense to me. It didn't sink in. I didn't understand it. Why are they talking about the why? What is my why? I just want to make money, right? All of us want to make money. But money is pretty much the outcome of the activities that you do. But initially finding out the why, for me, the why was my parents got COVID and I couldn't get them the next meal. So from then on, I was like, no, I don't want to live this life where I have to ask for holidays from my manager and only go for 4 weeks and come back. So that was my why I went really, really serious in my side hustle and made it my full-time business. So most people get stuck with the how. The moment you say, how do I do this? Brain is spiraling into doubts, self-doubt or doubt, and you're not even trying to solve that problem. So that's why I would say, think about the why and not the how. The how you will figure out when your why is stronger. Okay, trust me, it's good. And family and other peer pressure, this is mainly with parents with young kids. They'll be like, it's just an excuse that your brain tells you, right? If you can't find 2 hours in a day, 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour late night when your kids are sleeping, I think you're not serious enough about your business. Anybody who says, I don't have time and they start blaming their kids, this is what I tell them. You do things for your kids. You do think with your kids. If you follow me on social media, I share my life pretty much a lot of what I do. And this is what I'm trying to tell people, that you can do it with kids. You can do it with your caring responsibilities. This is the easiest life that you can build if you have caring responsibilities. If you're a single mom, if you don't have support, this is the easiest you can do. All right. So a lot of the objections come with your deep-rooted conditioning and family, grown-up, childhood traumas, belief system, cultural. There's a lot of things that goes into it. I don't want to go into greater detail, but whatever you think about you is right. Okay. If you think you can do it, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're right. That's what I tell clients, right? Whatever you think, you're right. So just think positive. Just think you can do it. So, all right. So that's the objection I wanted to address right in the beginning. Whatever objections that comes to your mind, it's because you have a primal human brain. All of us do. And our primal human brain operates in safety net all the time. It's just trying to keep you safe. So I've coached myself so hard that I can slap my brain and say, just shut up and do stuff. But I think it requires a lot of self-coaching to get to that stage. So online business, anything you do, it can be a virtual assistant. It can be an online business manager. You can be a social media manager. You can call yourself any fancy name that you want. Like I call myself digital product strategist. So you can call yourself anything you want, whatever you want to niche down in, however you want to be known as. So the main advantage is freedom. Okay, you get to choose where you want to work from. You get to choose how many hours you want to work. Okay, so literally you can work few hours in the morning. That's what I did from India. I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. Okay, 4:30, it's 9 o'clock in Brisbane till 11 a.m. Indian time. I'll finish all my meetings, all my workshops. And from 11 a.m. till night, I'll enjoy with my family, right? So that was my choice and it really worked well for me. And that was my why. And that's why I started this. So as long as it fulfills your why, then it's great. So the main thing what I find is people love to work from their home, a coffee shop or anywhere, just your backyard. It really, really works fine. And you get to choose what you want to do. So today in the audience, we've got somebody specializes in business consultant. So even in business consultant, if you want to do something very specific in a particular thing, you choose to do that. If it's not working, you're not getting clients in 2 months, you can pivot. My business is called Pivot to Thrive because I believe if something is not working, you don't have to quit. You just have to pivot. Right? And you choose your pricing. Okay. So you can compete with people in the offshore and charge yourself $20, $25 an hour. I know a VA in Sydney. She's fairly new. She's not really too much experience, but she works with the federal government in the admin space. So she does project management as a side hustle and she charges $75 an hour and she still has a decent clientele. Okay. I don't think I would be paying that money, but she's having clients. So it is what it is. Never blame that there's no money. We are going through a recession. Money is never the issue. Trust me. Okay. If you walk into any restaurant, it's full. You walk into Costco, it's full. You walk into Kmart, it's full. So people are spending money on things that they feel there is a need. So if a client gets on a call with you and then they ghost you or they say no, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. They're just not ready yet, or you haven't articulated your value well enough for the price you want to quote. But always it's not your problem. Sometimes the client is not just ready. All right. So you get to choose your pricing, you get to play with it, you get to experiment it, and you get to change it whenever you want. Once you start building your client base, once you start getting few paid clients and testimonials, you would have the confidence. Okay. Even first time, I really struggled to charge $1,000 for my coaching. I would say for 3 months or 6 months. That was me long time ago. But now even a 5-figure invoice feels natural to me. After 4 or 5 years, when you get used to the value that you bring to the table, you can clearly say, this is what I charge, and you get to decide if you want to go for it, or I can suggest alternates. Okay, so really, really very flexible with the pricing. And absolutely, I would say zero barrier to entry is the capital investment. So traditionally, if you want to start a business, you know how much you need to start a business. These days, a laptop, smartphone, internet is like a staple, like every household has it. You're not going to pay anything extra to get these because you already have these resources at home. If you don't, you can use community libraries. I used to use a lot of community libraries back in the days to organize my meetings, to use internet, good high-speed internet. So don't really worry about the resources. Just try to be resourceful, because the moment you start looking for excuses and blames, it's not helping you. That's what I want you to know. So today, like everyone is equipped with resources, or you can just go to a community library or a public council place and you can use it. I'm not sure about the most regional areas, but I'm pretty sure most Australian remote areas have these council facilities that you can use it. Okay. And the biggest advantage of online business is you can turn your passion into profit. So basically, you get paid for doing what you love. Okay, so that's the biggest advantage, because most of us are stuck in a job that we hate. I was there not long ago. All right, so this is for people who are still struggling to figure out, is online business for me? So if you like being your own boss, because it's not that easy, the discipline is hard, there's no one to question you. Okay, so it really was difficult when I didn't have a team back then. I mean, I didn't have much accountability. Now I've got a team who asks me for content, who asks me for stuff. So I have to show up and I have to do things, but discipline is a major factor. Everybody loves being their own boss, but my question to you is, do you have the discipline to be your own boss? But probably I should reframe that. And it is a hard, long route. I would not sugarcoat it to tell you, hey, it was easy, I just made it. No, I would really, really want to re-emphasize that there were a lot of days of self-doubt, lots of tears in the shower, lots of days I was like, what the hell have I done to myself? Because I've been here only for 8-9 years now. And out of that 3 years, I've been full-time in my business. So 6 years as a migrant, nobody would have given that 6-figure paycheck with university and jumped onto something that was not even making $10,000, $20,000. That was a big gamble. I worked in gambling. Big gamble I did on myself. But my justification was, if I don't gamble on myself, who else will? So you should be willing to take the hard, long route to success. And the best way to do that is start it as a side hustle. If you have a day job, retain it, keep it until you get some client base, and then you will know it when you're ready to jump ship. You will know it. Okay. So just listen to your intuition. And you should be somebody who loves to help, because entrepreneurship, we all come into business to make money, but basically it's serving people. You have to be so selfish. That's what I say to people. I was so selfish that I used to take care of my entire marketing wing for my clients. I used to do a lot of done-for-you services because I wanted to show them results. So that was my point of difference in the business coaching space. There was no coach that was actually doing the work for them. So I used to coach my clients, and I have a team member do all the roadmap that I actually prepare for my clients. So it was a great model, and that's what helped me grow my business really, really quickly. Because today, what people don't have is time, right? So if you are the person who's going to help them implement stuff, then it's a great way to make money, because anything saving time, people are going to be like, yes, take it. I want to do it. And this is for somebody who believes they're born for more, not just a desk job, 9 to 5, boring, just get a paycheck and do it. I really believe this is for people who feel that they've got so much more to give back to the community. All right. And if you're somebody who wants to have a huge impact, leave a legacy, for me, it's like the digital legacy I want to leave for my great grandchildren I'm never going to meet. So 3 I's are crucial for online business: income, impact, and influence. Okay. These are the 3 I's that I focus on. You need to have your business generating income for you. That's the very first step, because you need to pay bills. And then comes your impact and influence that you want to create in the community. You want to help people and all of that. Okay. So if this is you, then definitely I'm super excited you are here. So before I move on, if you have any questions, please unmute or share in the chat. Let's have a look. Georgia. Yes, that was ClickFunnels, correct? Joining from Townsville. Not. Am I too fast? Am I slow? Is this okay? Is the space good? Should I slow down? Am I too techy? Please provide some feedback as we move into the core of the presentation. HR generalist, exploring opportunities to develop consultancy for, HR is a great field for freelancing or VA opportunities. To find how to get started. Great, Georgia. All right, great. Thanks, Brian. All right, cool. I think we covered this. Okay, these are the three things we're going to cover shortly. Who is a VA? What are they expected to do? And why is now the best time? What is expected from you as a VA? And how much can you get paid? Depending on how we track time, I've got a particular workbook that I prepared for my VA's retreat last month. So I'm happy to share that. People have registered. I'll share the recording. I'll even share that PDF with you. So if you sit down and work with that PDF, I'm pretty sure you'll get much more clarity on, how you can get started as a VA. All right. So who is a VA? So VA is basically an executive assistant, but working virtually. As simple as that. Like we used to have personal assistants back in the days, or even now some businesses do. So executive assistants or personal assistants who can be in any part of the world, helping with different aspects of business. So it can be very specific aspects, for example, video editing, podcast editing. So I've got a VA that very specifically works with YouTube video editing. I've got someone who specializes in podcast editing and podcast repurposing. And then everybody is expected to be a social media manager because that's like the baseline on where people get started, because that's important for you to grow your personal brand as well. So that's why social media management is very common. I mean, if you want to make $500 this weekend, I would say just go onto Facebook groups. I mean, if you're good at Canva, if you can create creatives, or if you want to specialize for certain niche, for example, HR, you can just go and say, hey, if you're a HR manager or company, I specialize in HR division and I can help you with social media management or admin management of HR aspect. Or if you're using a specific software for HR, and if you very well know that software, you can just put it in the Facebook group saying, I am an expert in this particular software. Happy to do a 1-week free trial and give you in exchange for a testimonial. Or if you're happy with it, then we can discuss for a long-term arrangement. So you can do a lot of, that's how you get started. Basically, first is they call this beta clients. Beta clients is when you go onto different groups or go onto your social media and ask for people who need your service for free. Don't do it for a longer period of time. If you're starting out, I would say 1 week or a fortnight max, because it takes time to build that relationship with the client as well and give your best. I would always say your low ticket offer should be your best offer. So go in and put your best fit forward and show the value that you bring to the table, and then ask them for a testimonial. That should be the arrangement. So build your social proof, build your portfolio, and then you can discuss for a paid arrangement. If not, you can say, I'm just taking 3 business owners for a very, very, very minimal price for the first 3. I would suggest the option 2, because when people pay this commitment and people do understand, when you say, I'm from rural Queensland, I want to build this business, just be honest. I think it always works in your favor, and say, I'm starting out, I'm learning. So offering it for a very, very subsidized fee for the next 3 months, a 3-month package of this one, and then we'll revise the money. So I think that's how VAs get started initially. And that's a good start. So I want you to think about the problem you're solving. Okay. Always put your problem statement first. So are you a burnt out business owner? Or if you want to serve just women, you'll be like, are you tired, exhausted, burnt out mom in business? And are you trying to juggle it all? Are you trying to know it all and be it all? I can take this one off your plate and I can help you do this. I can organize your emails. I can do whatever is your specialty. Be very clear and exact problem you're solving. Now, usually VAs, I find this image, right? A woman sitting in the center with 10 hands and 10 different stuff. People get confused. So focus on one thing, but focus on one problem and exactly what problem you're solving. So let's take the next few minutes to understand your skill set and write down what problem you're solving. This will help you to target the right person, because today I think we've got a very, very diverse businesses in the room. So write down what problem you're solving, who are you solving it for? And then I'm happy to discuss. If you're done, if you want to share, you can share in the chat. If not, you can just type comment done in the chat, and we can move forward. How are we tracking, team? We've got few responses. Let's just give it a couple of minutes and then I'll start discussing. The reason I don't stop sharing my screen is there's some issue that happens with Zoom and then it gets blank. So that's why I can't unshare my screen. In the recording, then you'll have blank screens. If you're done, please comment done, share it so it'll be interesting to discuss and get feedback. All right, let's start discussing. Turn business owners' passion into words. So Brian, just a feedback. It'll be better if it's more specific. Like, are you helping them with copywriting? Are you helping them with website content, sales funnel content? It's very generic, so it doesn't really target, because passion into words is very generic. So if you can really make it a more specific problem statement, I think you would speak to the right person. Because if it's going to be, I can turn business owners' passion into words, it doesn't speak to anyone in particular. Say, for example, if you're a tradie, I can help your business reach clients more, or help a Bundaberg tradies reach local businesses really targeted, really with the best website copy or SEO copy. So whatever you're trying to do, be very, very specific so you speak right into your audience. I think that'll be really helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute and ask. Take the headache out of HR for busy owners, leaders, and HR departments who are resource poor. Yes. So I would love for you to explain how you do that, or the things that comes with taking out of the headache. Is it the specific HR software, HR systems, mapping out HR processes? Because I know there's a huge demand for that. Just the process mapping. So what is it? So more specific and more details would really help you speak to the right person. Because if I'm a HR company and I'm struggling with creating a process map, then I would be like, yes, Georgia, please come and help me. So really, really specific about that.
Priya, just a question on that. Is it better just to really, I guess, specialize and really keep it clear initially about what you can help with? Because obviously there's a lot of different things I could do, because I've got a generalist and a learning and development training, org development background, but there's a lot of things within that. So is it better just to really work out what it is that I want to try first and specialize in and just put that out there?
Exactly. I think just get your foot in the door. And then you can expand your services depending on what they need. I think that'll be the best way to do it. Or it works two ways. So I don't like doing this social media aspect, like the done for you service, but I initially started off there because that's what people were willing to pay for, right? And then slowly I moved away from it. I do the strategy and I've got a team to help me. So you really have to see your passion. It's like a Venn diagram, your passion, but what people are willing to pay for, right? And that's the sweet spot you need to find.
Okay, thanks.
But then later on, you can upsell and you can move to different aspects, what you love to do. Okay. Take the pressure of business owners so they can be productive in other areas of your life. So again, this is very, very broad. Take pressure of business owners can be anything. They can have a mental pressure, relationship issues. So what is that you're exactly going to do? Are you going to manage their inboxes? Are you going to take their phone calls? Are you going to respond to their emails? What are you going to do? So that should be very, very specific. So teaching people how to use AI for generation and schedule. This is a great niche, Jared. I would strongly recommend get on straight away and do things, because people love to learn about AI. It's really, really hot. Like next month, I've got that webinar, which usually gets 50, 60 people for me, because people love to use AI for their marketing. So that's a very good niche. So you're taking the more consulting niche rather than actually doing it, right? So that is also a different way to make extra cash, is consulting and teaching training. So whatever you want to take. So if that's your preference, Jared, well done. You're on the right track. Okay. My client is a self-employed business owner who is burnt out and as a result doesn't enjoy the business they build out of passion anymore, which is most business owners these days, Melinda. I work in the business strategy space to help them to redesign the business model so that the business serves them and the life they want to lead. It's about balancing business and personal needs and goals. Yes. So so it looks like you're more in the consulting space as well, Melinda. So that is also a great place to be in as a side hustle. So you're very, very clear that you're helping them to redesign the business model so the business serves them and the life they want. Okay, I'll finish this one more and then I'll tell you the 3 different aspects that you can do. Thank you for running. Unfortunately, I'm unwell. It's an opportunity to get the coffee. Yes, I will send you a copy of this recording for people who've registered. That's why I've captured your emails. So you should get the recording. So thanks for joining today. Hope you feel better soon. Okay, great. Well done, team. Good efforts. Great clarity, especially if you're doing this for the first time. Well done. So 3 different aspects that I want to think about, like DIY. So DIY is like Jared and Melinda, where you act as a consultant and tell people how to do it, or you can offer a course. Okay, that's why I call myself a digital product strategist, because I didn't want to trade time for money. So building digital products like courses, ebooks, lead magnets, webinars, okay, virtual summits. Those are the easiest way how you can build your digital empire. So Jared, if he does not want to do this, time and time and again, live sessions, trading time, he could record it as a course and sell the course, even if it's, for example, $97. Some 10 people buy it, it's $1,000 passive income. I don't like the word passive income because you still have to actively pump traffic to the webinar page or the course page, but that's how you make money without trading time, right? So that's the DIY model, where you do the resource once and you sell it for a price. Your client gets that resource and they DIY themselves, right? They try to do it by themselves. So that's the low tier model, where there's not much money involved, but you're looking at a numbers game. You'll get more people signed up. The next is the done with you model. The done with you model is more like a mentoring coaching session, where you get your clients on a call and you train them to do stuff, or you show them how to do it, or you do it on the call with them, or you coach them on how to do it and they go back and do it. So you can combine DIY and done with you. So you can have like an initial onboarding call, depending on the service you offer. For example, for HR processes, I would say she can do a one-time setup and then train the internal team to do it themselves. Or you can charge a monthly retainer for just the maintenance. So you can do however model you want for the done with you kind of a model, right? And the third one is where there's more dollars, right? It's done for you, where you completely take it off the client's plate. You save them a lot of time. Okay. So time equals money. So the way, things happen is when you can articulate what value you bring to the table. So I'll show you an example. So I'm right now building a VA directory in India, registered a separate business in India, and this is work in progress, not complete. So I've got a form here. So this is basically my business system assessment form, like to understand what the businesses need. Okay. So say, for example, so I've got a formula here. Okay. Let's calculate how much money and time you save with VA and AI tools, right? So say, for example, how many hours do you and your team spend a week on lead generation, marketing, and sales? So every week I spend 8 hours or 10 hours on that. Okay. And what is 1 hour of your time worth to you? This is what most businesses miss, right? They try to learn it themselves. I see all the Facebook groups. People are like, I'm going to learn Facebook ads by myself. Can I get a course to learn Facebook ads? What is a course to learn Instagram Reels? I'm like, why would you want to do that? It's not worth your time, because people are not factoring in the time that they're going to invest in learning everything, right? So say, for example, my 1 hour of my time is worth $75, for example. Okay. So every month, there's a calculation obviously I've used to calculate, you lose 40 hours every month and you could potentially be saving $3,000, even with $75 an hour, right? So literally, as service provider, as a VA or as a business consultant, as a HR specialist, your job is to let the business owner know that basically they are spending so much money. It's not free, right? Nothing is free in this world. I tell my children this. Nothing is free in this world. If it's free, you are the product, right? So $3,000 they could have saved with this. So, and then I've got a whole checklist of things what they have to do and stuff like that. So this is just at the start. I'm setting the stage right for them to understand that they can actually save this money by paying a few dollars an hour for VAs to do this, right? They can literally save this. So this is how you tend to show the blind spots to your clients. You can tell them, hey, this is what you are actually spending. It's not free. So always saving time. That's why I said the problem statement has to be very, very specific. Are you struggling with your website converting to paying clients? I can help you redesign, or I can help you reword your entire website to make sure you're speaking to the right client. Okay. If you're a HR consultant or a HR company completely lost with systems and processes doing all the admin stuff, let me handle it for you. So very specific what you're going to do will really help you to do this. So I want you to spend the next couple of minutes, write 3 different offers, DIY, okay, done with you, which is DWY, and then DFY, done for you. Okay. What are the offers that you can offer as DIY solution? What is that you can offer as a done with you? You don't have to offer all the 3, but if you can come up with all the 3, that's great. Because like I said, I come from ClickFunnels, the sales funnel world, and I like to think of all my offers as a sales funnel. Okay. How do I bring people to the top of my funnel, right? There are people scrolling through Instagram and Facebook feed. Your challenge is to stop them from scrolling and bring them into your funnel. Basically, know who you are. So the top of the funnel should be an offer, very, very affordable or free. That's how they come into your funnel. And then you nurture them and convert them into your higher offers. For example, this webinar is my funnel to bring you 12 or 13 or 15 people, whoever you're in. So now you're in my funnel. You know who I am. You know what I do. And then what I do, I'll add you to my email list. And every Monday morning, 9 o'clock, you'll get my email. And that's how I nurture. So whenever you need a service that you are reminded of me, and then you come to me and ask, Priya, can you help me do this? And that's how you get into my paid containers, right?
Hey listeners, before we jump back into today's episode, I want to tell you about an incredible opportunity that's perfect for those of you who are always asking these questions yourself. How can I earn more money? How do I get more customers without spending on ads and fancy funnels? How can I generate recurring income without selling all the time? How do I create wealth without trading time for money? How can I transition from being a one-person show to mastering delegation? If this sounds like you, then you're going to love our sponsors for this episode, the Pivot Mastermind, a life-changing 6-month intensive experience designed to help you launch and scale your digital empire. But that's not all. One of the standout features of this mastermind is that each attendee gets a dedicated virtual assistant to handle the admin and social media marketing tasks. That means you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business and enjoying the freedom that comes with it. Don't wait any longer. Click on the link in the show notes to apply today and take the first step towards transforming your business and your life with the Pivot Mastermind. Now let's get back to today's episode.
So this is how I want you to think. So what is your DIY offer, which is your top of your funnel, or done with you offer, done for you offer? So you need a DIY offer or some kind of an offer on your website to actually land people into your funnel. So if you have a question with that, happy to answer depending on your business, but spend the next couple of minutes to do this, please. It's a very, very important exercise for you to understand what you're going to sell and what kind of offers. If you have a few offers, could you market a series of different problem statements to your clients like you have told? Oh, yes, I have 20 different funnels, Melinda. So you can channel people based on different offers into different funnels. You can definitely have different offers. If you're done and happy to share, please share in the chat so we can discuss. Is it a free challenge? Is it a paid challenge, Jared? And what's your plan after? Can you think about the funnel? So after 7 days, what happens next? What's your offer? Are we struggling, team? If you have questions, please unmute and ask. It's a bit challenging when you have to think about DIY, done with you and done for you. But once you get it, it'll be a game changer. All right. Free And then call to action for done with you, offering paid DIY course at the end of the challenge. Make it competitive with daily scoreboard and time. Set to create urgency to complete the task. Spread hashtags throughout the event to garner more attention to the challenge. Yes, competitive and complete.
Shared hashtag, sorry. Apparently my spell check's not working very well today.
That's fine, Jared. All right, great. You've got more clarity. Amazing. Yeah, course could be an easy sell. But what I've found with my personal experience, I could be wrong, is 7 days is too much for people to do things. 3 days is really, really good. If it's a free challenge, people are really motivated. They show up, they do it. 5 days is a bit okay, but anything beyond 5, I find people's motivation kind of dilutes, is just my understanding. And also when we do a lot of stuff for free, I think when we start out, we wanted to offer so much value. We do a lot of stuff for free, but the problem is people don't value it when it's free and they try to take it for granted. I used to do so much free stuff only to realize that people don't value it. They don't value my time. They don't value my efforts, because it still takes a lot of effort. Trust me, 7-day challenge will take so much time off you retain. And then when people don't take it seriously, obviously you will go through those emotions. I think that's unavoidable. But yeah, otherwise you've got a very solid plan. Well done. Cool. Anyone else? Are we good? Let me check what slides I have. Otherwise, since y'all are more action takers, I would love to go through the workbook with you guys. Okay, Georgia, DIY is document HR processes by development of a HR process map, largely developed through desktop review of policies and other documents and a small element of SME input. Great. Done for you is run team workshops with SMEs to document and train. I think workshop would be more of a done with you, Georgia, because you're not doing it for them. Yeah. Correct. You figured it out. Yes. So done with you is when you run workshops and you make them sit down and train them to do it themselves. And then if you're actually doing it for them, going and implementing all the process map into their system and setting it all up, that becomes a done for you kind of an offer. So this is great. So you've got a website or a landing page where you ask people to opt in to your PDF or a video or a webinar or whatever you document. I would strongly say videos build that authority, know, like, and trust factor more quickly, because I think in 2018, 19, 20-ish, the kind of PDFs worked really well. So any ebook, any PDF, people would buy. I looked at a Facebook ad which said 24 ebooks or 24 courses for $24. And in my head, I go, where do I have the time to go through 24 courses? So there used to be a time when anything you give as a digital asset and a value, a PDF, ebook, or a course was so much valuable and people used to grab it. Now I think people are smart enough to understand you're just doing it to get their email IDs and you're going to spam them with all your salesy newsletters. So I think there's a very fine line. I never believed in email marketing, but now that's one of my strongest source of lead nurture, lead gen. Like I said, I'll be very honest, and I tell during every workshop, the list will be added to my email newsletter. So there's 5 different segments of my newsletter. One segment is where I talk about my life. What do I do? What's the update? And then there's Priya's practical pointers, where I talk about one particular topic, 5 tips, simple, you can implement that day. And then there's events happening in Australia, events I'm doing, grants and awards. That was a suggestion from one of the webinar attendee. They wanted to know more about the awards happening in Australia and international. So there's a specific section for business grants that are Queensland specific and also national, and awards, and then podcasts. So there's so much value for the reader. It's not me selling. I don't sell anything in my newsletter. Probably the one I would have sold is my retreat in Bali next year. I have a plug about that retreat if you want to attend. Other than that, I don't sell in my newsletter. It's just a lead nurture platform that I use it for. So really, really understanding whether you want to go sell to people on the face, which is also fine. There's nothing wrong with it, because selling equals serving. Last month, we had a workshop about science and psychology of sales. Very interesting workshop. How to sell in the online space without being very icky and salesy. So there's a lot of things that goes into building your whole online empire. That's why I talk more about the psychology and mindset, because you have to be very clear in what you're selling. And you should also go with that energetic preposition that I'm going to serve people, I'm going to help people. So if you're going to ask that money, you have to be very confident that you're bringing 10 times value to the table. That's my thing. It's always 10x. You pay me $100, you get value for $1,000. So that's how I always think in my head. So this is great, Georgia. You've got a solid plan. So DIY instead of PDF. If it's a simple webinar, if it's a simple recorded video that you can send to people, it kind of builds that trust pretty quickly. If you had this as a PDF, all the information, what I'm sharing now, if I give you the slides, if I give you the workbook, I don't think it would build this relationship as much as we have now, where I talk to you, I answer your questions, and we have this engagement on camera. That's why it's very, very recommended to do a webinar or a video. That'll be good. Okay, great. Melinda, DIY is an ebook or a recorded write a business plan tutorial or rediscover your why, vision, and values. Very small cost or free to collect email addresses when accessing to then build relationship before positioning. Done with you service to those clients. Done for you face-to-face strategy session to redesign business to meet needs. Upsell to a monthly fee to provide accountability for that business owner to continue. Yeah. I still feel for you. Done with you is face-to-face strategy session. Sorry, I'm trying to understand the difference between done for you and done with you here. Do the work for them. It looks to me both of them are done with you. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Face-to-face strategy session to redesign business. They do the work. Done for you. I do the work for them. Oh, okay. In that case, I wouldn't ask them to be there for the strategy session. You can have a one-off call. This is what I do for my done for you clients. I get them on a 1-hour Zoom to understand their entire business requirement. And then I delegate it to my team and my team does it. So that way they're not sitting with you face to face and, spending all the time. So time is what you're trying to save for them. So that becomes a done for you, then a done with you. Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Done with you. So I'm just trying to put the pieces together. So the first is write a business plan. I would definitely say write a business plan, which is more targeted and it speaks the problem rather than the rediscover your why and vision and values will be part of the business plan. But if you having a workshop on rediscover your why, probably most of the people in the room, we can take a poll, wouldn't join. But if you're saying, do you want to write a business plan? We're going to sit down and do it. Or I have a webinar which will help you do your business plan yourself. I think you'll have more signups that way because it speaks directly the problem than a lot of the woohoo stuff, which I truly believe in, but a lot of business owners don't. And it just captures the right audience for you. So I would say if you're starting out new, start off as free. But if people are not valuing it, put a small cost and do it. So if your target is to collect email addresses, then definitely free opt-in is the best way to do it. Okay, so the webinar is your DIY, and then you've got a done with you workshopping model where you do it with them, and then done for you, you completely do it for them. Great, amazing funnel. Well done, team. Anyone else would like to discuss? Unmute and talk. This is your best time to kind of validate your thoughts, because that's what is the biggest trouble, right? Validating that we are on the right track, whether this is something that people would pay for. So this is your opportunity. So go ahead and ask. I'll move on, but if you have questions, please unmute and ask. Let me check. Okay. So out of all the times, I seriously, if you've been in my other webinars, I would seriously say this is the best time to be alive. Like, I don't know why people don't understand it. Like, seriously, this is the best time to start a business, to go wild with your passion, because the worldwide, even in the most remote part of any underdeveloped or third world countries, the remote work is rising. So you can see why I invested time and money into registering a separate entity in India to grow that audience, is because India, it's a numbers game, right? We're talking about like billions of people, right? The entire Australian population is one city in India. So I want to tap into that numbers game. I want to tap into that audience. So it's going to be low ticket, but numbers game. So remote work is the new normal. And, cultures like India where women give up their identity, give up their career after marriage, perfect to find a freelancing gig or, upskill yourself into an online gig. So even in Australia, with lots of single moms, a lot of remote rural communities, definitely remote work, virtual space is kind of the new normal, and the acceptance is high. Because initially, if you're going to say, I'm going to work from home, people are never going to believe you, right? None of the bosses are going to give you flexibility to work from home. But now in HR space, you would accept, Melinda, that these days people really, really prioritize their work-life balance, and people really demand that work-life balance by having a work from home opportunity, like a hybrid arrangement. And I don't have to go into the great resignation of the current generation. What are they called? Alpha, I think. So we millennials, or even beyond that, we never used to quite quit and be a part of the great resignation. I think we are kind of conditioned to work hard, get that paycheck until retirement. But the new generation, like my kids, oh my God, I'm freaking out how the future is going to be. And there's a lot of online businesses, like especially Australia, we've got all these tiny nano businesses built out of passion, right? When you look at the markets, when you go to the markets, all these tiny handmade goods built so much out of passion, but they can really, really benefit if they can tap into the digital aspect of it as well. So if you're selling candles in the market, why not teach people how to make candles, how to make scented candles? Education is such a huge multi-billion-dollar niche and is growing very, very rapidly, right? If you bake cakes, teach people how to bake cakes. Okay. If you are into craft, teach people how to do craft. You just think nobody will listen to you. So I was looking at this webinar where the most watched video on YouTube, or one of the most watched YouTube video, is how to tie a tie. Like, because there are billions of people who don't know how to tie a tie. And you would think it's just simple, it's just silly that there's no market for that, but you don't know what people don't know, right? So it could be a simple stuff. Imagine the number of times you have hopped onto YouTube to look at something very simple. Like, I didn't know how to open the thing of my dad's car, and I had to go to YouTube to find that. So there are simple things like everyday stuff that we don't know. We go onto YouTube and check. So which means there is a huge market for everything that that most people don't know. Like, I don't know to bake at all. Like, anybody selling a baking course, I would sign up because I don't know to bake, right? So simple things like that. It need not be anything that is related to your education or work experience. It could be your passion. It could be a side hustle. The easiest way to identify that is things that your friends asked you. How did you do it, mate? Can you teach me? Okay. How did you do that? I don't know. It could be a simple hair tie for your girls or anything. Very, very simple stuff that if people asking you, how did you do that? This is amazing. I don't know how to do this. Then that means there is an opportunity for you to educate people for that simple thing. Right? If you look at all the $1 million businesses, it started off with a simple problem on how they solved it. Right? So don't think massive. If the business doesn't have to be complicated. And that's what I say. Most people don't start online businesses because they believe it's too good to be true. Right? They believe it can't be that simple. We're always used to the conditioned belief that it has to be work hard to make that money. It doesn't have to be hard. You just have to work smart. Like, I'm the laziest in the room, right? But I can work smart. I can just do things the easiest, I can take the quickest way. So all you have to do is understand that there's lots of online tools available, especially with AI. It's really, really useful. And with the migrant multicultural communities and my offshore team, AI tools are such a gift because English is not the first language for them and for me. So such tools really helps me to give them access to those tools, like my podcast VA. I think she's the one with the most language challenge in my team, but she does the work really, really well because I've given her access to so many AI tools that if you just put the entire podcast episode into an AI tool, it basically removes all the ums and ahs and filler words and all this stuff. It enhances the audio. Once she does all of that jazz, she puts it into a tool and it repurposes in 7 minutes. All right, team, in 7 minutes, the entire audio is transcribed. Okay, you get the entire transcript. You get the summary of the particular podcast episode. You get the timestamps and chapters. You get an SEO-rich newsletter. You get, SEO-rich blog post. You get a newsletter. You get LinkedIn post. You get quizzes. You get codes. You get some more. It's all in one tool in 7 minutes, right? With a single click, the AI does the magic. So she does not have to write in her own words the description for the podcast. She doesn't have to manually find out the timestamp for each of the episodes, which my previous VA used to do. So it saves time. So the better tools and resources that I can provide for the team, the better output that I can get for my personal brand and for my clients' work, right? So really tapping into the online tools and the AI wave to make the best use of your time. I would say this is the best time. You don't have to do anything manually. You think of a task which is tiring, there is an AI tool to do that. You just haven't found it. All right. So for anything and everything, if you don't want to show your face on camera, there's a faceless whole niche to create reels and short-term videos. If you want to create your own avatar, okay, now my team is working on that to create a Priya bot, basically to clone my voice, to clone my video. So I don't have to create content. I just have to give them the script and they can put it all into the video format, right? So this is actually, you don't get any excuse to say, I can't do this. No, there is an AI tool to do it. There is an online software to do it. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to do something, right? And it is the digital age, meaning digital age currency. So basically, attention is the new currency. If you can get someone's attention, that's making dollars, because that's the challenge, right? We live in such an information overload age. Like people keep scrolling, like thousands of contents every day. So how do you basically stand out from the crowd and stop them from scrolling is by being creative with your marketing. It doesn't mean you have to do the silly, stupid dance. I don't do those TikTok style stuff to grab attention of people. I'm not silly. I'm not fun. I would say I'm boring. But I do my own style, right? I do educational videos. I just sit and talk. And if you want to listen to that, if that's going to give you some information, education, then you stop scrolling and do it. So you find your zone of genius. You find out what content you like best, and then you start working from there. Just don't do it just because everyone is doing it. That's the trendy. I mean, you can follow the trends if that's your thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're someone like me who's not very adventurous with the content creation, I just want to reassure you that there is a market for you as well. There is a space for you as well. Not everyone goes into the crazy dancey form of content. It's not the only way to reach your audience. You can be as authentic as you want, because I personally believe that's what will get you in the long run. Like I'm like this. If you sit with me right across the table and talk, I would be the same. On an online version, you get the same version of me. My email newsletter will be authentic. My social media content is authentic. You'll never see a different version of me faking around and showing a version of me that's not me, right? So you can embrace your authenticity. And that's the beauty of the digital age right now. And imagine about the thousands of people that you get to impact, like you guys sitting in central Queensland and central Northern Territory that I would have never got to serve. I can do it just because of the digital technology we have today. So I want you to embrace and do the same thing by tapping into the whole digital AI revolution. You can help serve any part of Australia or any part of the globe. Especially if you're someone who speaks another language, please tap into your regional language. If you speak Spanish, if you speak Italian, if you speak German, please tap into your regional language. People do not realize how much potential is there if you can tap into your audience in their own language. Because if English is not your first language, then there's a huge population that struggles to understand like real content creators in English. And the level of comfort is really, really high if you can speak the same language. So if any of you are bilingual and if you want to tap into that market, please go for it. There is a massive opportunity there, missed opportunity there. And my mentor calls it an unfair advantage that I have, that I can tap into Indian audience with my regional language audience. That's the unfair advantage I've got when other people talk about racism and discrimination and other things. And he says, you've got the unfair advantage of tapping into the whole billions of population there, being an Indian and speaking the language. So whatever you feel as a disadvantage could actually turn into your advantage. And that's what I'm trying to do. Even in India, I'm tapping into English audience and also my regional content where I can tap into that audience really, really well. Okay. So that's another bit which was not on the plan to discuss, but it just came with the flow. So if you speak another language, please feel excited. You've got a massive opportunity, less competition, and you can tap into that market. Okay, this is quickly going into the workbook. This is my first batch of VAs that I trained, and these are the different people I've trained and paired with my clients. So you can see this is the first client in Australia that I paired my VA, Joe. So this is the founder of Key Business Network, Julie, and they needed a VA to help with their networking back-end stuff. And that's how it started. And from there, it just went on. So I've got lots of case studies to share, but I think that's irrelevant. But I would just want to say it's been a massive impact. So I even trained 3 boys, but boys didn't last long in my team. So we didn't have good ones. So this is my VA. I use her now. So if any of you email, she would be the one replying from my team ID. She was a dentist, and I'll show you her picture if I have one. She attended from her clinic. I don't know if I have that for the masterclass. So no, I don't have that. Okay. She attended my masterclass from her clinic as a dentist, and she quit the job, and she's my VA because she was a dentist, not by choice, obviously by parents' compulsion. She didn't enjoy doing it. Her husband does fly in, fly out. So she wanted to stay at home with her kids and make money. And now she makes a good 6-figure working with me. So it's really paid her well. Okay. Now, what's expected? Like I said, this is just a slide that I put up. This was for India. I just reframed it for you guys. So from a VA and how much you can get paid. So just as a bare minimum, because I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. I always like to underpromise and overdeliver. So even if you're starting out as a $25 per hour as an admin assistant, this is just to show you, even if you work 20 hours a week, which is 4 hours a day, or you can work 4 days, 5 hours a day, you still get $2,000 a month. This is per client and 20 hours. Okay. As you get good at managing your time, you can cram multiple clients. I don't think a lot of people, I don't do it, so I don't know. There are a few clients who I've had who actually clock in and clock out my VA's timing. They have to really clock in and clock out. But I don't believe in that concept, because if they do the work, if they clear the week's work within one day, I'm like, take the 4 days off. I'm not going to give you more job. That's your responsibility for the week. You can do it in one day. You can do it in 7 days. I don't care. That's just my style of working. And that's why I've got some happy people in my team. But even if you use a time tracker, this is the kind of a rough guide. Like 25 is like very, very minimum. I'm telling onshore, you can charge much more. But I don't want to overpromise. So even if it's going to be a bare minimum, I just wanted you to know that this is what you can get, a $2,000 extra, or as your side hustle. If you're a parent or if you're working full time, you can be very, very honest and transparent with your client and tell them, I do have a 9-to-5 job, so I will be working flexible hours, either early in the morning or late at night. And most businesses do understand and appreciate the honesty and will let you do that. So I would say, please be honest and please share your communication. Keep them always in the loop. If you're sick, kid is sick, you can't work, tell them, please. That's all I would say. Okay, any questions? How are we tracking time? We still have half hour. So I think I've got this workbook. I'll quickly go through this workbook, but I'll share a copy of this workbook. So understanding the VA business, what are the different aspects that you can help with as a VA? I've given different things. And the main thing that I want you to do is the inventory activity. Okay. So whatever skills you have, just mark yourself as a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, and you can start doing your inventory check to see the activities that you can do. Or sometimes you might know this, but you might not know. That's called the administrative skills, or that's called calendar scheduling or document organization. Okay. You won't believe the amount of business owners that need inbox management. Okay. It could be a simple thing, tagging them into different clients or different tags, or organizing them into folders, cleaning up the inbox. That is a massive task. Okay. But it's a simple task. But if you're good at organization, then definitely that's for you. So do this exercise, find out your inventory, and then finding your niche. Like I'm sure if you're in the online space, you'd have heard about this. Find your niche multiple times. So basically, you've got only 3 niches: health, wealth, relationship. That's it. Any industry that you can think of will fall under one of these. Okay, health, wealth, and relationship. So that's like the major niche. And then you've got sub niches under each of them. So this will help you to identify if you want to specialize in certain things, because being specific, I think initially when you start, you freak out. If I want to work only with health and wellness coaches, I'll be like, oh, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table because I'm not going to work with business coaches or mindset coaches. But if you specialize in one niche, obviously your chance of speaking into that particular problems are much more, and the chance of you getting a client is much more. All right. So you can look at all the different aspects of things that you can do, and then competitor analysis. So I've given you all the step-by-steps on what to do. So this is basically for struggling to finalize a niche. You can find out based on the exercise you've done, what's the demand for that niche? Is it high demand, medium demand, low demand, competition, profitability? And this is the most important one. Do you have personal interest? Okay. So if I know that legal support is going to pay me more, but I hate doing the mundane document task for legal stuff, it's dry and boring, then there's no point, right? I'm going to make money. That was my day job, right? Heaps of money, but boring, right? So your personal interest also matters. So find out your niche. Okay, 3 is a sweet spot. So find out your niche. So you basically want something that's got a high demand and low to medium competition with high profitability, and definitely with personal interest. That's how you find out. Okay. And once you choose your niche, crafting your business plan. I'm not competing with you, Melinda, but this is something that I help to basically figure out how you can do a basic business plan, and then a pricing checklist. How can you price yourself? Agreements, contracts, basic stuff, legal essentials. What is the legal stuff? Obviously, you have to speak to a lawyer, your accountant to do this, but this is just a guide on how you can do this. And the most important task is building your online presence. Okay. Building your website, building your social media and content strategy and all of the jazz. Now, I don't know if you had a chance to look at my website. So this is basically 5 years of my learning, basically put it into one website. It's still work in progress. It's not complete. I did it very recently in May as I moved to my new CRM called High Level. So this whole website was built on High Level. The reason I'm telling it is if you're building a new website, if you're going to establish something, I want you to have this in mind. All right. Everybody has a website. We spend minimum $5,000 on a normal website, but do they have the strategy to drive traffic to your website? Do you have strategies to capture the traffic that comes into your website, nurture them, convert them? Okay. Capture, convert, and close. Okay. So here, for example, this is the most important part of your website. It should speak to your target audience, what problem they're facing. Most of them have pretty pictures there, nothing wrong with it. But you can see this is the banner that people see. So it's got the problem statement. Do you need more leads and faster sales? That's what my business owners that I want to target struggle with, right? Identify what's holding your business back. And then I've got a quiz. This is my lead magnet. Okay. So I still have these downloads, free PDFs that people can access, but I want it to be more immersive. I want it to be more engaging, right? So I've got a quiz where people can go in and type and find out. So if I just type in, this is my way to collect emails as well. But every step I have automated, and only because of this system set up, I was able to stay in India, still have an active business running with lots of clients and sales. And then it goes to my strategy quiz where you complete all the questions. Then at the end of it, you get a score for marketing. It's a very personal. So there's so much work that went into the calculation. I'm big nerdy. You can know that with my PhD. So all the calculations that I do to find out what's your marketing score, what's your sales score, and basically tell you the option, how I can help. It could be a free demo call. If you have most of the system set up, I'll be like, just book a free demo. I'll show you my system and you can automate your whole system because you are in the scaling phase. If you're in the growth phase, then probably you need just a one-off paid consultation with me and I'll give you a complete roadmap. You can go and grow. If you've established, then we can do, if you're starting out, then we can do a free call to identify what you can do. So there are lots of different triggers, automations that I have that'll help. So once somebody completes this, okay, you can see that immediately I get an email that says this person has completed the quiz, opt-in form, because some people might just opt in, leave after that. So what happens is there'll be a workflow that will be triggered for people who have completed the first few forms but didn't actually submit it. There is a workflow that's triggered. Okay. And then when people go in and download these ebooks, then there is a workflow that gets triggered. So everything is automated. I don't pay anything extra for my website. It's all in a very affordable monthly subscription, say $197. I get all of the email automations, all my marketing, everything done in one platform called High Level. Okay. So I manage everything on this one platform. Like my newsletter went out this morning. So every Monday morning, you can see there's a specific tag for Indian units, one for Australians. I can select who do I send what. And then everything you can manage your SMS, automation, sales funnels, websites, hosting your courses, building your communities like Circle and School. It's too good to be true. You've got all these options in just one particular platform for such an affordable subscription. So if any of you are looking for an all-in-one CRM plus website plus forms and surveys and blogs and everything, you can see I've got hundreds of funnels here. So all of this is in that one platform. So if you do want a demo, happy to book, just go here and book a free demo call, and we should be able to show you a demo of the particular tool. The other option to work with me is the Regional Business HQ has a digital action plan. I think it's $110 for 3 to 4 hours. It's a very subsidized program, and that's the most economical way to work with me. So you can ask the digital advisor that I would like to work with Priya, and they would allocate a few hours, or some people have booked in all 4 hours with me. So that's another way to work with me if you think that those strategy sessions will help you to get your business off from the ground, or if you are struggling with some gaps, definitely happy to help. So I will be sharing the webinar recording and the workbook with you all. Please go through the workbook. I'm not sure if I given my email because this was more of an internal workbook. This was not done with the purpose of marketing. So you will obviously have its team@pivottothrive.com.au, or you can go to my website and contact me via my website. If you have any questions, if you're struggling, if you get stuck, feel free to ask questions. That's pretty much it. Let me check the chats. Newsletters are successful for you. People just don't read them. It's just, that's what I thought, Melinda, until recently. I don't know if I have still that story in my Instagram. Yesterday I posted, before 1 year, I had posted a story saying, hey, no, that's vanished. Hey, 1 year ago, I said email marketing is not for me. I'm not a big fan of email marketing, but now it's become my third successful lead gen. So I think it's just what we believe. It's not a proven fact, but once you do it religiously, it works. Trust me, it works. But it's about giving value. It's not about you selling, but what is in it for them. For you, for example, if it's targeting towards business owners struggling with HR, I would talk about giving values every week. Okay, what they're struggling with. Are you struggling to manage your timesheets? Are you struggling to manage all the call logs or, trades with their geographical tagging with their thing? That was the thing that we're trying to figure out with an AI tool now. Jared, if you have anything, please let me know. The tradies, a business CRM, we're trying to integrate a high level with a software, a HR software basically, which has the option to time track the tradies and also the geotag for their petrol expenses and stuff like that. So we didn't know there's one tool which can do all of this. We're still trying to figure out so we can integrate a high level with that third-party tool that'll help manage this huge trades business, roofing contractors we've got in Sydney. So that's the challenge I'm facing. So Jared, if you know any AI tool, please let me know. But yes, so I would definitely say, Melinda, get rid of that objection in your head and just do it and see, you might be surprised. So you can just start with a simple 50 people, 100 people email list. You don't need to have a massive email list. Yeah. So just start somewhere, and maybe initially you can do a monthly, weekly tag sync. I do it because I just wanted to push myself, and this is the best disciplined I've ever been this entire year is my email newsletter. So you can start monthly, look at your analytics and then you can push it to fortnightly or weekly, depending on how well it receives. When people unsubscribe, I'm thankful. So in that way, you get better open rates. So you don't want dead audience who are not even opening your email newsletter. So when people unsubscribe, I'm like, that's good. So we've got quality audience. So my open rate was 24 to 25% when I started. Now it's 68%. So that's massive for email open rates. Okay. And people who attended our sessions last time, I was on a call with him and he said it's like a ritual for him every Monday morning, 9 o'clock. That's a huge word, right? When people call it a ritual and they look forward to your newsletter on a Monday morning because you train your clients, you train your leads that I'm doing it. So that's why the discipline part really helps. If you're doing an event, make sure you do it, say, the last Friday of every month, we'll have a networking meeting. The first Monday of every month, let's have this. So people can start planning their calendar around your event. They'll really become more loyal to you if you show up and if you really show consistency and discipline. So try it, Melinda. I wouldn't want you to leave that option on the table because it's a great way to nurture your leads, especially for your niche. Go B2B, go hard on LinkedIn and go hard on your newsletter. Definitely, there's a massive, massive opportunity there for you because I see on different groups people asking for HR help all the time. Definitely, there's a huge, huge scope for that. Okay. Yes, Jared, it is a struggle finding that one tool which will be godsend for me to help that client solve all their problem with one software, because you can't introduce too many integrations and too many changes for companies. So I'm trying to keep it as seamless as possible. And I'm finding it challenging to find that one tool to do all of that. Any other questions before we wrap up, team? The quietest audience I've had in my entire Regional Business HQ seminars today, but it's good. We've got some engagement. I hope it was useful. And I hope most of you go back and implement, because there's no point in listening to webinars after webinars and you just overload your brain with information. I have asked one of my clients to stop listening to podcasts because it was messing her brain. She was listening to too many podcasts and too many things, and it was not helping her. It is supposed to help you. Podcasts are supposed to be like a personal development, but it was actually acting reverse. So I think I would say this advice to people, like a lot of information these days can be conflicting, can be contradictory, can stop you from focusing on work. So if you are consuming a lot of information, stop all the notification and just focus. Okay, this is what I want to do for the next 2 months. I'm not going to learn anything new or get carried away with shiny object syndrome. That really, really happens. I want to give you this warning. When you go into the online world, the shiny object syndrome is real, people. You will get sucked into it. You wouldn't know just a simple Facebook scroll can suck your time like 1 hour. You'll not even realize it. So make sure you're more aware when you're going. So what I do take my phone, post stuff, and off it goes. I don't consume content. I'm more of a content creator than a consumer. People think I'm on social media all the time. No, I'm not. I'm there for marketing. I market my services and then I'm off social media. I don't consume a lot of content because either one thing, you would start comparing yourself with people who are always there and you'll fear FOMO. You'll be like, oh shit, I'm missing out on so much. I should be doing more. I should be doing more. There are a lot of my best friends who don't watch my stories. They say they get depressed. They feel they're not doing enough looking at my stories. I say, oh, sorry, that's not how I wanted to make you feel. But I do work very long and hard. So you can't please everyone. Everyone is not, I say this with lots of love to my team. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm a freaking champagne, right? So you should have your own attitude. You should have your own authentic self when you show up, and because that's what is going to be there with you forever. So I'm so grateful that you'll join me this Monday morning. I truly appreciate your time. I hope you got some value and clarity out of this. This is a great opportunity for Australia. Australia, we are still behind most of the countries, I would say. In terms of US, we're definitely behind 3 to 4 years. Even India, I would say, is much more advanced in terms of technology. The struggle in Australia is change management, okay, and the resistance is real. Especially for me, I would be the only dark-skinned person in any room I walk into. I'm like, there are millions of migrants here. Where are the other migrants, right? So most of the room I walk into, I would be the only dark-skinned person. And as you can understand and appreciate, there is multiple layers of resistance I need to crack to get to wherever I am today. I don't play the blame game. It's easy for me to say, hey, they were racist, or he's a racist, or this country is a racist, and that's why I'm not where I have to be. But is that excuse helping me? No. So I don't use them as excuses. I turn it into my unfair advantage. And that's how I've turned that VA business into a huge opportunity that value adds to my Australian clients to get affordable admin services, right? So every challenge you have, there is a potential opportunity. So I will leave you with that positive thought on this Monday, that do not stop yourself and use excuses. If you're coming up with an excuse in your own head or telling to somebody, just think it's your bloody primal brain that's stopping you. Slap your brain and just do the stuff. Don't consume a lot of information and get confused. Implement, implement, implement. Okay? One implementation equals 100 courses or 100 webinars that you attend. Okay? So please go back and implement. If you need anything, you've got all the ebooks on my website that's free. Go and download. I'll send you the VA workbook, send you the recording, go back to the recording and just start implementing. Just start posting. Just go and ask people, I'm starting this. I'm planning to start this. Will anybody be interested in offering a trial, basically in exchange for a testimonial or some kind words? So start there. So, all right. If we don't have any questions, just one message. Thanks for that. Has definitely given me some points to focus on in regard to what I want to offer to my clients. Great. Truly grateful that if this was useful and if it helps at least a few people to kickstart today. So go back and today. Now is the best time, right? There's no tomorrow. I don't believe there's any tomorrow. So go and start your side hustle or value add your existing clients with all your virtual services. I wish you all good luck and hope to see you all in any of my future sessions. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I truly hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it just for you. Please follow Pivot to Thrive podcast on the platform you're listening to right now. It would mean the world to me if you could leave a review, and I'm so excited to see you on the next episode. Sending you loads of love, positive and healing vibes your way. Stay blessed.